Hi mathematicians! Welcome to Learn Math with Kath. I'm Catherine and I'm here to help you on your journey to learn math. And today what we're going to do is we're going to learn about how to multiply and divide fractions. Multiplying and dividing fractions are a bit different from adding or subtracting fractions. In this case, if you remember back when we're practicing adding and subtracting fractions, we had to always make sure that the denominators were the same. But for multiplying and dividing fractions, it's not the case. So let me give you an example. So we have two-thirds times 1/4. So when you're multiplying fractions, there's different ways that you can multiply, and I'll cover the different ways. What you can do is multiply the numerators together. So 2 times 1 equals 2, and then 3 times 4 is 12. That's one way. You multiply the numerators, get your answer, multiply the denominators, get your answer, and then if you look at your answer, you have to break it down into the simplest form. So if we want to simplify this fraction, we see that both of these numbers are divisible by 2, and that's also the greatest common factor. So we divide 2 by 2, which equals 1, and then 12 divided by 2 equals 6. So our answer to 2/3 times 1/4 equals 1/6. There's another way for us to multiply fractions. So I'm going to rewrite the problem here. 2/3 times 1/4. This is called, the strategy that I'm going to give you is called cross-reducing. In this case, what we did was we just multiplied the numerator and denominator, got our answer, and then we simplified it from here. But with cross-reducing, you could do that before you actually calculate your problem. And what I mean by that is it's called cross-reducing because you look at the numbers that are diagonal to each other. So the number 2 up here is diagonal to the denominator here, 4. And you look at these two numbers and see, are they divisible by any number? So if you look, both of them are divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2, right? It's like we're simplifying before we actually multiply. And then we look at this side, 1 and 3, it's already in its simplest form. They both can't be divisible by any number. So once we cross-reduce, then we can multiply the numerators and then the denominators. So 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 2 is 6. So you could decide when you're multiplying fractions whether you prefer doing it this way or you prefer doing it this way. You get the same result. I personally prefer cross-reducing because I'm able to simplify smaller numbers as opposed to simplifying bigger numbers from the answer. But whatever makes it easier for you, you can choose. So that's how you multiply fractions. Let's try going into dividing fractions. So here's our example problem. Okay, 2/5 divided by 7/8. So with dividing fractions, what you need to do is you take the numerator, you take the first fraction and you keep it the same. And then you have to multiply it by the reciprocal of this fraction. And what I mean by reciprocal is all you have to do is basically like flip it. Okay, bring the numerator up, bring the denominator up, and bring the numerator down. So, which is the reciprocal. So then you multiply 8 over 7. And then you just calculate. So 2 times 8 is 16. 5 times 7 is 35. And that's our answer. It's pretty easy. If you know how to multiply fractions, you know how to divide fractions. The only differing step is that you have to multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. And that's how you divide. So let's try another problem. And I'm going to erase this to clear our board. Sometimes when you're multiplying fractions, the problem may not be a regular fraction or an improper fraction. Sometimes you'll be multiplying mixed numbers. So let me give you a problem. 2 1/3. Let's do divided by 1 1/4. So if you look, these are not fractions or improper fractions. They're in the mixed number form. You always, always, always have to change mixed numbers into improper fractions to be able to calculate. And so we need to change this, 2 1/3. So how to change it back? Just to remember is you multiply the whole number by the denominator. So 2 times 3 is 6 plus this numerator, which is 7. So 7 over 3. We do the same thing here. 1 times 4 is 4 plus 1 equals 5 over 4. So now we have our division problem in the improper fraction form, which is what we want. And now the next step, if you remember, is we need to rewrite our problem 7/3 times, we have to make this into the reciprocal. And what that means is we flip it, right? Flip the fraction. 4 over 5. And now finally we can calculate our problem. 7 times 4 is 28. 3 times 5 is 15. And remember when we talked about fractions, usually we want to have our fractions, if you have an improper fraction, we want to change it to a mixed number, okay? And so if we want to change it to a mixed number, the answer is 1/13 over 15. And that's our answer. Okay. So to sum up, remember when you're multiplying fractions, it's very simple. You just have to multiply the numerator, multiply the denominator, come up with your answer. You could simplify it from there, or you can cross-reduce when you're multiplying. And dividing fractions, it's very similar to multiplying, except with the second fraction, you have to multiply it by the reciprocal, which is all that means is with the second fraction, you just flip it. Put the numerator on the bottom and the denominator on top. And this concludes my lesson for you. Hopefully this video was helpful. And if it was, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And always remember, anyone can learn math.